Lucknow's Giloti kebab, Hyderabad's biryani, Kolkata's mishti doi, Kashmir's rogan josh, Amritsar's chole kulche, Delhi's butter chicken, Mumbai's pav bhaji. Already familiar with these, right? Now let me tell you some more. Parathas from Murthal, Bhutte ka kees from Indore, Udaipur's lal mas, Travancore's chicken chettinad, Jaisalmer's Rajasthani thali, Agra's aloo tikki chaat, Mangalore's neer dosa with chicken ghee roast, Assamese pitha. Oh, I'm already hungry now. Not really possible to count all of the popular dishes in a country of 29 states and 1.3 billion people. I think our variety of Indian recipes would easily run in thousands. Thoughts of food and travel have never been at such heights, no? Especially since COVID started. From Facebook to Instagram, the posts are either about travel memories or variety of food being cooked at home. In fact, whenever I get into my kitchen, suddenly in the middle of cooking, I find myself thinking of the road or the city or the place where the specific dish is made. Seriously, food and travel experiences are part of my muscle memory. In India, food and travel go hand in hand, and that's the fun of traveling here. Welcome to Travel John's podcast by Huma and Sudeep. And today, in this episode, we are going to talk about food tours in India.
Hey, but you recently warned me not to talk about food.
Yes, I had to. Listeners, let me tell you something about Sudeep. Sudeep's everyday's favorite question is, what's the menu today? And this happens invariably, even if the whole world goes into war. But for today, Sudeep, you get to talk about your favorite topic, food. And as it is raining, I'll also serve tea and pakoras to keep you going. How is that?
Chai pakora. I love being Indian. And on top of it, Bengali in this season.
I get it. You know what makes Indian food so appealing? It is the way flavors rub up against each other. The cuisine is complicated, no doubt. The average Indian dish contains at least 7 ingredients, and the total number of ingredients that we use are around 200 out of the roughly 381 observed around the world.
I never knew. All this while eating every day.
Of course.
Wow.
Sudeep, why don't you talk about your favorite dishes and your relationship with food, given that you have stayed in various parts of India? What does food remind you of? Like for me, food reminds me of places.
Food reminds me of happiness. My eyes light up. There's a smile on my face. Both my nostrils seem to work overtime, streaming the aromas into my brain, and my ears can hear every morsel I chew. That's what food does to me, and has done to me in so many places across the country. Once with a few friends, I was having my dinner at the banks of Lake Pichola in Udaipur, overlooking the palaces lit up in front of me, and the restaurant served me naan and lal mas. So how heavenly that was! Or when the opposite of it, standing in a dingy lane and a crowded sweet shop in Varanasi, very famous, I downed 2 hot glasses of milk and maybe 7 or 8 long latas. It's a very special dish that's local to that region, sweet dish. I have not had it anywhere else, but that day I think downed 7 or 8 of those. One more time when I stopped counting the puris, I was gulping with the kosher mangsho, the
Meat-based dish.
it's a mutton dish at Baliganj place in Kolkata. I can still smell it. As in, wow. And even a heavenly instant Maggie at the only open shop we found in the hills of Jageshwar near Binsar. We were hungry, it was cold, it was beautiful and cold. And this was the only thing that the small shop could produce. And I think we all ate two plates of Maggie.
Yeah,
So see, that's what food does to me.
agree.
So you heard me. So let's talk about some food tours that a food lover can take in India. Uma?
Sure. So we have designed 6 short food tour itineraries where one gets to experience places along with the food, and we also include cooking lesson or a home cooking experience in cities wherever possible. Our short tours mean less than 7 days. These are not day tours. Okay, let me start with Hyderabad.
First one.
First one. If biryani had a nickname, it probably would have been Hyderabad. Though it's a myth that Hyderabad is only about biryani, the number of dishes which you can get in Hyderabad are way too many. Besides, Hyderabad offers the keen traveler a wonderful glimpse into the rich culture and heritage of the Nizams. I'll talk about the dishes you can have apart from biryani that most people know. Halim, marag, kebabs, these are non-veg dishes. In sweets, you can have faluda, shahi tukda, double ka meetha, sheer korma.
So not
So
just
this is
meat, you also have lots
lots
of
of sweet
sweets,
dishes. Yes.
milk based as well as without milk as well, which is very famous from Hyderabad.
Yes. This is going to be a 4 nights, 5 days kind of tour. And while you do the tour tasting, you can also see places like Hussain Sagar Lake
Yeah.
and Necklace Road, Salarjung Museum, Falaknuma Palace, which is one of your favorite places, Charminar,
Chowmahal.
Chaw Mahal Palace, Mecca Masjid, Golconda Fort, Ramoji Film City.
Yeah, and I think Hyderabad has a lot of richness when you go and look at their architecture and palaces. Very well preserved because the Nizams were active till about 1947 and were very rich people. So you find a wonderful time at Hyderabad.
The second tour that I recommend is Lucknow. Lucknow's rich architecture to refined culture to intricate crafts to scrumptious cuisine makes it a great place for food tour and shopping.
Yes, I agree.
Again, we recommend 4 nights, 5 days kind of tour here, and you get to taste mostly Avdi and Mughlai cuisine here. For example, Nihari and Kulcha, Awadh biryani, Shami kebab, Gulati kebab, Handi chicken with sheermal roti, Chaat tokri, and Nimish, which is Malai Makhan based dish.
So just to maybe a lot of mince meat based amazingly fine crafted kebabs which sometimes go with flatbreads, as well as you have sweet dishes which is again milk based, slightly buttery, very tasty. And again, not just that, it's a lot of other things as well too.
Yeah, and the places that you can see are Chota Imambada, Bada Imambada, the two imposing monuments in Lucknow. Then Dilkush Garden, the place which holds a special position in the history of independence. There is Ramakrishna Mission Mutt, the institute which emphasizes on the culture, religious and spiritual aspects of the world. Shah Najaf Imambada, the tomb of Nawab Ghaziuddin Haidar and his wives. Jama Masjid, Marine Drive, Husainabad Clock Tower, Aminabad Shopping Complex.
And La Martiniere,
Yeah,
a great
French
French
architect.
architecture and still a great college for boys. I have a lot of memories of Lucknow. Uh, while I was studying in Varanasi, Lucknow being just a couple of hours away, I would probably hop in there every 5 6 months, and I remember the shops in a street called Hazrat Ganj. It's still very famous, and the food that we just spoke about, almost everything was available, and everything is like wow. Would have queues of people standing out waiting for them to be admitted in, and food was heavenly. I can still smell and maybe taste
Yeah.
the food. Let's not get digressed here, Huma. Let's continue with the third tour.
The third tour is about Kolkata. Being a Bengali myself, I have to include the food and the food lovers' capital of India, the city of joy. Not only has a rich cultural heritage, but also is renowned worldwide for its charts to sweets to non-veg to seafood. This is again going to be 4 nights, 5 days tour, and I'll mention some of the famous dishes that I can recall, like Luchi Koshamangsho. This is again meat-based dish. You have it with fried puris, flatbreads. Chingdi Machir Malai Curry, which is prawns cooked in coconut gravy. Nolen Guder Paesh. It's a sweet dish, jaggery based sweet dish.
Very tasty.
Very tasty. And even the ice cream is tasty
Yeah.
of the same jaggery. Then Shoshe Ilish, which is
Ilish has the hills of
fish.
fish, which is very, very popular in Bengal, not just Calcutta, but even Bangladesh. And if you cook it in mustard, that's speciality that we have.
Yeah,
in
it's our
Calcutta.
favorite.
And lots of chicken kebabs, duck bungalow chicken, a slightly English way of cooking when they were ruling India. It's called chicken duck bungalow. And then, why? How can you forget
Lot of
rasgulla?
chops. Yeah,
which is-
rasgulla. Yeah, that.
and street chaat
Yeah, I have not.
and rolls and
Rolls
whatnot.
and-
Yeah.
Oh, but there's so many things that we can talk about.
And you can
And-
club this with many places,
Places,
that we
yeah,
have.
I will talk about those places. So you can visit Birla Mandir, Rajbihari Bazaar, College Street, New Market, Kali Ghat,
Prince of God.
Prinsep Ghat, Indian Museum, Nico Park, Nandan, Garya Ghat. I remember shopping there. Victoria Memorial, Mohor Kunja,
And how about Howrah Bridge?
Howrah Bridge, of course, and
The-
Hooghly River, yes. And we also include a home cooking experience in Kolkata. So you get to taste all this, and cook some of it yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
nice.
So the fourth tour that I'm going to recommend is Delhi Amritsar. When it comes to food, how can we forget Punjabi cuisine, which is popular across the world from London to Canada? The cuisine is rich in every sense. While you get everything and every cuisine of India in Delhi, including Mughlai, we have included travel to Amritsar as well, so that one gets to taste authentic Punjabi dishes in the heart of Punjab. While Delhi has some of the most popular restaurants in India, the food tour in Amritsar is something one must do.
I agree.
This is again 5 nights, 6 days tour because it includes 2 places. In Delhi, you would get almost all cuisines and dishes, as I said, that India has on offer. One must try chaats there, Punjabi dishes like chole bhature, butter chicken,
chicken,
dal makhni, sarson ka saag with makki di roti, Mughlai dishes, and sweets too, while in Delhi. And of course, you'd remember Chandni Chowk,
The heart of street food.
food.
Yeah.
Amritsar, on the other hand, is famous for chole kulche again, Amritsari fish tikka, lassi, dal makhni, paneer, and chicken dishes. Places that you can see in Delhi.
So many.
So many.
The Humayun's tomb, the Red Fort, Siri Fort, the Purana Killa,
Right.
the Mughal style mosque, Jama Masjid.
Lotus Temple,
Yeah, the only place of Baha'i worship in India, correct. And then the
Qutub Minar.
Qutub
we can't
Minar,
forget
yes.
that. Yes.
Chandni Chowk, as you said.
Yes.
And the new Lutyens Delhi, the central Delhi, which is the Rayalaseema Hill and the Rayalaseema Hill and the North Block, South Block, and so many the manicured, pedicured part of Delhi, right?
So in Amritsar, of course, there is
The
Golden
Golden
Temple, Wagah Border, Jallianwala Bagh, and I would also talk about Sada Pind. This is an authentic village experience along with food, similar to Chowki Dhani in Jaipur.
So basically, a village atmosphere in an open environment where you get to sort of do all this and taste food as well,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Yeah, I remember Chowki Dhani, so I can relate. Yep. Our fifth tour on the list, I would say, is Goa, India's favorite beach destination.
Yeah.
Sun, sand, sea, and I'm adding seafood. We have never ever encountered bad food in Goa, ever, and we go there like lots. There are some amazing restaurants in North Goa as well as in South Goa which have never disappointed us. Some of them score very high for the location too. This tour can be 4 nights or 5 nights depending on how much you want to absorb. I will talk about our favorite places. If I look at North Goa, places to eat could be Baba Aurum at Baga Beach, Anjana Road, or Olive at Vagator, or Thalassa in Seolim, though I like their previous location, and Calamari on the Candolim Beach. And while in North Goa, you can see places like the Aguada Fort, as well as the thousands of beaches we have like Candolim, Vagator, Kalangut, Baga, Anjana, Mobor, Arambol. You just talk about beaches and you have. If you go to South Goa, which is much more quieter and has much more of a spread of resorts over the nightlife that one would see in North Goa,
And better beaches too.
better beaches too. You have lots of again very popular joints, restaurants like Mickey's at Kolwa Beach, or the Fisherman's Wharf at down south Cabalossim, or the Martin's Corner at Bethal Batim. And well, these are also fabulous beaches. Bethal Batim, Palolem, Varka, Gonda.
Sudeep, I'll also talk about Asagaon in North Goa. Presently, it has a great food scene with Susie's
And
and
Gunpowder.
Gunpowder
Yeah, yeah.
being famous places.
Yeah.
Last but not the least in our list is Mumbai Indore.
Or 6 too.
Sixth tour, yes. Mumbai is one of those few Indian cities which specializes in as many vegetarian dishes as non vegetarian. From traditional dishes to zesty seafood to millions of street side stalls to defeat the hunger demon, Mumbai has got you covered.
Yeah.
Mumbai's vada pav
And
and
pav
pav
bhaji.
bhaji definitely cannot be missed in the list of popular Indian dishes. And one can enjoy the best of Maharashtrian as well as Gujarati cuisine in Mumbai.
True.
Right?
True.
Indore, on the other hand, is the street food capital of India. Lot of people may not know, but this is true. There is something called a Sarafa market in Indore, which
It's a
is
street, yeah.
popular street for amazing chaats. As I said, bhutte ka keys, hot dogs, lot of other street foods. And now let's talk about the places. So in Mumbai, you can see Gateway of India, the fort area, Marine Drive, Worli Sea Link, Mahalakshmi Temple, Haji Ali, Elephanta Caves, and Rajiv Gandhi National Park in Borivali.
Yeah, the only green lung space that they have in that city. And in Indore,
And in Indore, you have Rajwada Palace.
it's a small city. You have the airport at one side, and yeah, there are palaces and
There are
forts
some
of the
temples
Holkars
too, and
that
you can
will find.
travel to Mandu from Indore.
Yeah,
You
it's
can-
Mandu is one of those last standing islands of Mughal architecture in the country, very well preserved and a beautiful drive.
Yeah. So, and food, as we said, Indore is about street food, and in Mumbai you get both. This list is pretty short for food tours in India. Given that we are Bengalis and have personal taste preferences, our suggestions may seem biased to some of you. So please do share your list with us, including great places to eat in India, must visit cities and towns for food, so that we can incorporate the same in our tour itineraries and even promote them. We know that we have missed out on a few places. Sudeep, would you like to talk about your best food experiences outside of these?
Outside of these places, if I were to suggest, then I would say kachoris in Rajasthan, the kind of snack that this place excels in, almost any town, but Jodhpur and Kota are the best places. Number two, I would say, as I said earlier also, Varanasi has great food, especially milk-based sweets, including a drink called Thandai. Third, the Kashmiri Rogan Josh. I remember being served once on our houseboat in Dal Lake in Srinagar,
Yeah,
and we just scooped the bowls clean. We ate so much. Fourth, another kind of kachoris, soft one stuffed along with aloo ki sabzi or potato gravy in Shimla. Oh, amazing! I like that as well. And lots of it. But teas and cakes at the cafes in Darjeeling are also extremely heavenly.
Yeah, lots to do with associations of these places. One tip I would like to give here: whenever you travel in India, instead of going by your driver's opinion, first please check for popular restaurant list on TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
And then get it vetted by locals too. We
Yeah.
do that all the time. And of course, do some prior research if you're a foodie like us.
Completely agree. We saw the benefits of this approach again as we were in Andamans a few months ago, Havelock Island actually, and discovered a place called Anju Coco,
Right.
and went to eat almost all our lunches and dinners there, the days we
We
stayed.
avoid dinner, but lunches,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, now with enough said about food, let's get to our Cut the Clutter section where we tell our listeners the basic FAQs of when to travel, where to board, how to move around, what to eat. We have spoken about what to eat
Yes.
and many other questions. So let's first come to the question of when to travel. As I've said mostly, India is a very good bet to travel between October to March. Climate and temperature is very nice. It's also the high season of tourism, so it would draw in more crowds, but you'll also have a lot more options, and options available to tourists are at the best at those times. So for all the tours suggested so far and all the places, this makes the best times October to March. If you happen to be in Goa over the New Year, if you choose to do so, then you'll witness something you'll never forget. Goa during the New Year times is just another level. How to travel? Second question. All these six destinations are very well connected through flights. They have nice airports and have international and domestic flights. Maybe except Lucknow, which might not have many international flights, but it is very close to Delhi and
But
best
good
connected.
connections now.
They are also extremely well connected through trains and excellent roads. You can fly into one destination if you are short of days, or you could even take the train and can travel overnight from one to the other and then settle down into the daily rhythm of the place. Once there, moving around in the city is easy. There's lots of transportation, and even rideshare cabs like Olas and Ubers are plenty.
So food tours are not very hectic tours because you are
Yeah.
confined to one places, and in these tours you should preferably stay within the city.
Yes, most of
Mostly,
these places would
because you
have
are.
an old city, which is where if you stay, you'll find the heritage and the culture appealing to your nostrils as much as the food does.
Yes.
Third question, where to stay? I think in India and these places, I think there is lots of options for every kind of traveler in their pocket, depending on it. It could be hostels, budget hotels, 3 stars, 5 stars, upscale resorts, and even different niche places like yogic retreat and all those things. I would suggest, as you're planning, let your travel operator suggest the best places that he could make you to stay as per your choices and as per suggestions that
Food
you would have
preferences.
preferences. For listeners who are coming into India from outside and might have a question on visa, the country has e-visas available for as many as 156 nationals of different countries. It's very easily applied to on the web, and a multiple entry 4 month visa as a standard that you get. So it's a very easy country to get in from outside. So I think since we have taken care of the big question of food, I think we have probably covered everything else that could be in Cut the Clutter. Have we
Sure.
forgotten everything?
We are done. You've been listening to Travel John's podcast. This is Huma, and our episode today was produced by me and Sudhi. We'll be back next week with a new episode on India adventure tours in the current series of India Travel. Thank you for listening. To get your weekly updates, please do like, share, and subscribe to Travel Jones on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or from wherever you get your podcast from. It'll help us keep coming back with interesting stories and destination insights. Ciao.